Would you like to have an exclusive deal with BIS where you can record as much as you like and we pay for everything? We pay for the orchestra, we pay for the engineer. And I said, let me think about it.
Øystein, thank you very much for these 2 days. You're a great inspiration for us, brass players all over the world, especially because probably one of the few tuba soloists in the world. Is that correct?
Yes, at least I used to be the only full-time tuba soloist which did this as my primary source of income. There are a lot of really good players, obviously, that play in orchestras and that do solo playing as a secondary activity, or teach, for example, mainly, and then solo play. But at that time I was the only one. Now I'm also teaching at the academy in Oslo.
So tuba soloist full-time and teacher full-time in the Oslo Conservatory?
Yeah, right now it's like 50-50.
50-50, okay. Why tuba?
Tuba was the only available instrument in my local wind orchestra, so it was tuba or nothing if I wanted to play. Yeah.
Okay. And when you were younger, was it any other instrument that caught your attention besides tuba?
Yeah,
or?
It was actually when I was 10 years old I started to play euphonium. And I played for 2 years and I didn't like it very much. I don't think it was the euphonium that was anything wrong with, but I was too young to appreciate music. So it didn't work. And then I stopped playing for about 3 years. And eventually I decided I was going to try again. And at that point it was only tuba that was available.
Only tuba available.
Yeah, but from 15 years old, you know, this is the age when you start to think about the big questions in life, you know. What is the meaning of everything, and what is love, and things like this. And although music didn't really answer all of the questions, it sort of gave me some comfort. And the music became my anchor in life, I think you could say.
Yes. Was it, when you were younger, was it any other, were you having any other interests for other careers besides music?
I wouldn't say career, but definitely a lot of interest. Yes, I was always very interested in computer technique, and at that time it was very simple computers, of course, but it was interesting to know how they worked. And also I was outdoors a lot, did a lot of skiing. I was doing some mechanical hobbies, building things, and this is something I still do.
All with Legos and playing.
Lego was a big thing.
Every generation. Nice. Tell us a bit about the transition, because you were an orchestra player for many years in many orchestras. What was the desire that you have, or what brought you this desire of stopping the orchestral music to be now a full-time tuba soloist?
So let me start by saying that playing tuba in an orchestra is very fulfilling, and I also recognize the art of being an orchestra tuba player is really, really demanding in many, many ways. For example, one is to keep the motivation also. When you don't, I mean, let's face it, you don't play a lot of the time, mostly, so you count rests and you get ready to play. But when you play, it has to be super good, of course. So this demands a certain type of person, and I think I was pretty good at it, but it was something that was lacking for me. And it was to decide myself how the music should be, what type of music I should play, how I should play it, and how I should shape the phrases and everything. So it was this wish to actually be more in charge of my own musical expression.
Yes, completely. With trombone players, it's the same story, counting bars, and we don't have many opportunities to make music in the orchestra. I completely agree about that. When you were studying, I'm sure most of your colleagues at the conservatory were most of them wanting to pursue only the orchestral music, because tuba soloist or even trombone soloist is not something really, really typical. Were you already, when you were young, having that desire of being a soloist, or it happened only when you started in the orchestra?
No, this is a good question, but I think I always wanted to make music. For example, I was at that time you had the possibility to make, for example, multi-track recordings, like so you can play duets or quartets with yourself. This was something I really liked doing, and at that time it was much more complicated than now, because you had to use like tape recorders or cassette players with multi-track possibilities. Expensive stuff,
completely.
Called Porta Studios back. Now you can use this with just use your telephone. But this was something I really enjoyed doing, and creating my own small interpretations. I made my own arrangements of Eine kleine Nachtmusik and similar types of music, which you could do like for different parts. So I learned a lot from doing that, and it was really a wish, but I never really thought about becoming tuba soloist. This was something that grew later on. Obviously I was inspired by Michael Lynn and John Fletcher, Harvey Phillips, Roger Bobo. But I never thought this was a possibility. So I guess this was an organic growth process more than a sort of, yes, I want to do this.
Yes, completely. So it was over time.
Yeah.
When you didn't even decide it, this came automatically to you, let's say.
And you could say you have to have feedback, right? So when you start playing, you don't know, what do I have here? I like the music, but for me to be able to live from this, other people also need to like it so much that they're willing to pay money for me to play. And this is not obvious, right? I could have played well, but if nobody wants to pay me to do this, well, then I go very hungry.
You go completely. Yeah, money is important. Yes.
Yeah, money is important, unfortunately. But with that said, also, I have to say that when you travel to other countries, not all countries have these possibilities for artists. And in Norway, we have one advantage, and this is the social security system, which means that if you go out and you try something completely crazy and you fail, you are still not going to die from hunger, because there will be a security net to catch you in the transition period until you come up with another brilliant idea.
Yes, completely.
So being an entrepreneur in music or otherwise in Norway is actually safer than many other places. So that was an advantage.
Here in the north, especially, I live in Finland. I can prove what's saying. But in Europe, I think we have to be really grateful with all these opportunities that we have.
Yes.
In Colombia, I was a few months ago, and the situation, if you try something, nobody's taking care of you.
Yeah, sure.
So we are really, really lucky about all of this situation. What is Øystein doing in his free time as a hobby?
I have done so many things. I've been mountain climbing. Really good sport for focus. I was not super good at it, but I found it to be very helpful for the focus. That's one thing. I've recently taken my private pilot license, so I fly small airplanes. Really also good for focus, because if you don't focus,
yes, completely.
And maybe one of my more regular hobbies is to build things. I'm a carpenter, so I just built 2 houses on my property. One is called the Tuba House. I used to practice there. Now it's a guest house. And then lately I also built a big sort of workshop garage thing with a studio on top, which is something I like to do.
Amazing.
I also done a little bit of scuba diving.
Nice. Yeah. So really complete in your free time. Whenever you have free time, because I can imagine for the next year you have most of the dates already full with
Yeah, but then again, I like to have a little bit slack in my schedule. I don't like to fill up every single day during the year. It's nice to sort of wake up in the morning and think, wonder what I want to do today.
Yes.
I like that feeling.
Yeah, completely. To give, just for the last question, to give an idea to the young tuba players that are following us that wants to be soloist, how is like the day in a life of a tuba soloist?
It really depends on where you are in the process, because obviously in the beginning it's a lot just grinding exercises, becoming better at dynamics, at high register, low register, better legato, better articulation, better everything. And this has to go on for years. I had a year in my career, 91, when I was practicing 8 hours per day.
Wow.
I got up early in the morning and practiced until 5 in the afternoon, with some rests, of course. But that was super important. But as you feel more ready to hit the road, it changes to marketing. You know, now you have to sort of become famous, you know, or known, at least, you know, make people aware what you are doing. At that time, it wasn't so easy, but now you have social media. For example, a lot of people use Instagram, they use YouTube to sort of make themselves more well-known. And then, of course, when you are well-known and your gigs starting coming in, it's about learning new repertoire, maintaining. And as you grow older, the focus is more on maintenance, maybe 90%, and then maybe 10% is learning new things. So yeah, I think at this point in my career, it's more about trying to come up with new ideas of what to play, and also keeping your shape and also learning new things that you come up with.
Completely. Bonus question. What is the thing that you used back then? Because I can imagine when you started to be a full-time soloist, social media was not a big thing.
Right.
What was the best thing to promote yourself? Newspapers or
no,
messages?
That's a very good question. Actually, I talked to Harvey Phillips about this. Harvey Phillips was a really big inspiration, and he was also very good at marketing. So one thing that he did that I also applied was that, you know, tuba is very unknown for most people that are organizing concerts. So if you send a letter to, let's say, a chamber music series organizer, and you say, hello, I'm so-and-so, never heard of me, and I play tuba and I have this fantastic program, would you like to hire me? 99%. It will go straight into the bin. Yeah. But what he did, he had something similar. Was that he didn't write a letter. He just made an envelope, and he bought many cassette players, like cheap cassette players with headphones, and put battery in them, and he made copies of his promotion tape, put in one of the tapes in every cassette player.
Wow. Yeah.
And then he would take the whole cassette player with the headphone and everything, and he put in an envelope. And the envelope said only one thing: press play.
Super simple.
Exactly. So this of course triggers the curiosity of whoever receives it, and instead of saying, oh, tuba recital, not listening, you put the headphones on and you press play, and you are super impressed because you never thought the tuba could sound like this, right?
Completely.
And that was one of the ways you had to do it. You had to sort of surprise people. And obviously one thing led to another, because then you get some good reviews maybe if you play a concert and somebody hear about this, and you're invited to another place and somebody hear about that. So it's a lot of word of mouth.
Yes, completely.
In a way it's kind of similar now. I don't really know if it was easier then than now, or if it's opposite, because it's so congested now, social media. There's so many people that wants to say something. That it's hard to tell, but it's changed a lot, that's for sure.
For sure, that was special. Now it's really easy. They send you something in WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, you press play and you listen to everything. Now it's completely different story, but I completely agree with you. Many people want to share and show who they are, and probably you were the only tuba player sending.
There were a few people,
one of the few.
There were a few people, but I think what made me stick to this business was that I was very relentless. I would not give up.
Never give up.
You know, when I was doing my first CD on BIS, I would call to Robert von Baar, the owner of the company, and I would say, hey, I'm Øystein Baadsvik, and he hadn't heard about me. And I said, I play the tuba, and I am really good, and I want to play, make a CD. And he said, are you better than Michael Lynn? And I just had to sort of, what do I say now? And I said, yes, I'm better than Michael Lynn. And hope to sort of save that later. And then, okay, and he said, what kind of CD do you want? The piano and tuba, something virtuosic. And he said, no, that's not going to happen. Nobody will buy that. And this was his way of saying no. He said, if you get a string orchestra and you pay for the orchestra, you pay for the hall, you pay for the conductor, you pay for the hotel, the travel, what else? Yeah, the engineer that has to be approved by BIS. We might listen to the tape. And it was no guarantee. And I said, yes, I took it as a win. But it was really a hard rejection. Yes, but anyway, I went to work and I got the orchestra and a friend of mine, conductor. I got contact with, I got some grant to pay for the expenses. And I called him back and I said, yeah, we're ready to go. And he was like, what? He wasn't expecting that. But long story short, we made the CD. This was the Tuba Carnival CD, the breakthrough CD on BIS. And he called me after having listened to the master and he said, Øystein, this is going to be the best CD that we have released in several years.
No way.
And I was, what are you saying? And by the way, he said, would you like to have an exclusive deal with BIS where you can record as much as you like and we pay for everything? We pay for the orchestra, we pay for the engineer. And I said, let me think about it. No, but seriously, now I've made 11 CDs on BIS and, no, let's see, I think 10 on BIS. And it's been really important for me.
Yeah, completely. Wow.
So it's about the resilience. Just never give up.
The resilience is really important. That was an amazing piece of advice. Thank you very much
you.
for your time.
Yeah.
Follow Øystein on social media and see you really soon. Ciao, ciao.